Let's be real for a second. The reason you seem flat or disconnected on camera isn't because you have a confidence problem. You have an imagination problem. When you talk to the camera, there's no one there. Not in reality, but also not in your imagination. So you end up talking to yourself, and that feels inherently weird. But after generating over 29 million views and building a successful coaching business from scratch with video, starting as someone who was genuinely awkward on camera, I found there's a 3-step fix that's getting close to making it look and feel a lot less weird. Yay. And it's helped many of my clients to overcome this. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 3 steps. You need to do all 3 steps or they won't help you. Don't try to shortcut them. By the end of this, you'll have a reliable system to feel alive on camera and connect with your ideal viewer as if they were in the room with you. Step 1 is something absolutely foundational and something you've probably already heard of, and yet I'm willing to bet that you haven't done it properly or you haven't done it thoroughly or repeatedly. You've probably heard the term customer avatar. In this case, it would be viewer avatar. This is about getting absolutely clear on who you're talking to. What you're aiming for is to roll your ideal viewer or prospect into one, your perfect viewer. One imaginary person who embodies exactly the kind of person who would be a perfect fit for what you're offering. And if you're currently feeling flat or disconnected on camera, I'm betting you haven't fully done this. Because without having this clear in your mind, every video you make is aimed at nobody in particular. And you will sound general and you will sound aimless. And you can feel that and your viewers can feel that. They don't feel like you're talking to them specifically. They will click away, don't come back. If you don't believe me, think about what it's like to write a message to a close friend versus writing a message to a group, for example. When you write to one person, you know what they care about, right? What they're struggling with, what will land. When you write to a group, you hedge, you kind of generalize, you play it safe, and what comes out feels like it was written to nobody in particular, because it was, and it's exactly the same on camera. The moment you have a specific person in mind, their situation, what keeps them up at night, what they've already tried, what they're quietly hoping you're about to say, all of a sudden you sound like you're actually talking to a real person. How do you get to a specific viewer avatar? You answer all the key questions, what they care about, what they want, what they don't want, what they're hoping for, what they're secretly dreaming of. The more, the better. So your viewer avatar isn't a one-off marketing exercise. It's the person you're having a conversation with every time you press record. Get this right and finding your words stops being a struggle. And to help you build yours, I've put together a viewer avatar questionnaire that walks you through exactly how to create this thing in detail. You can grab it now at the end of the video, but make sure that you really watch the next 2 steps because this really makes it click. Step 2 is a favorite technique of Oscar-winning actors that I've learned through my acting classes, and it will help you to become the perfect person to talk to your perfect viewer avatar without any real effort on your part. If that sounds impossible, let me show you. Here's what I mean. Depending on your audience, your viewer avatar, the state you need to be in on camera might look quite different. Maybe you need to be warm and encouraging. Maybe you need to be energized and direct. Maybe the slightly older, wiser person who genuinely cares whether this viewer gets it right. The first mistake people often make is to never even consider this and to just be themselves and hope for the best. But if you did consider it, the second mistake most people make is trying to manufacture that state from scratch every time they shoot. They tell themselves to be warm, energetic and whatever. And the viewer can feel the effort. It's a bit like trying to force yourself to laugh at a joke that isn't really funny. And the harder you try, the more obvious it is that nothing's actually happening. So here's where this cool Hollywood acting technique comes in. It's called substitution. You want to think of a real person in your life who already triggers that state that you want to be in you naturally. Someone who, when you picture talking to them, you just become the version of yourself that you need to be on camera without trying. That's who you're going to start imagining talking to when you talk to the camera. And by the way, if you're saying, I'm always the same, you're wrong. Different people in our lives see slightly different versions of us. You might just never have considered it before. Listen, I had a client who'd been struggling on camera for over a year. He just felt awkward, saying all the right things, but somehow it wasn't landing. What we did together was find his personal substitute, his brother. Someone he loved, someone who made him smile just thinking about him. The moment he started picturing his brother on the other side of the lens, for the first time he sounded human on camera. And it fitted exactly who he needed to be to get his perfect viewer to know, like, and trust him. So find that substitute from your own life. Someone that makes you feel exactly how you need to feel to naturally be who your ideal viewer needs to see to trust you. And notice what a difference it makes in terms of how you come across. Now, step 3 is something that most creators never think about before they press record. And it's probably the most underrated of the 3, because it's the thing that pulls everything else together. Your avatar, your substitution, all of it. It gives you a reason to actually care in the moment. It's the importance of deciding a clear, immediate goal for your video. One where you decide what exactly you want the viewer to do as a result of watching your video. Without getting clear about this, the first 2 steps will only get you so far. It's not I want them to get value, it's something specific. Something like, I need you to try this for 7 days. I need you to download this thing and actually use it. A real outcome for a real person with a real reason behind it that matters to you personally. Because when you feel that, when you genuinely care whether this specific person takes this specific action, something happens to your energy on camera that practice alone can't replicate. You stop coming across like someone shooting a video that they hope people will like, and you start coming across like someone on a mission who genuinely has the viewer's best interest at heart. And in the process, you also lose that residual self-consciousness that most people struggle with on camera. It's a bit like the difference between a doctor running through a checklist and not really caring, and a doctor who actually needs you to understand what they're telling you. And frankly, the second one is hard to find. And here's another thing most creators miss. Your goal is also your real-time anchor during the shoot. The moment you feel yourself drifting in some direction, starting to listen to yourself or start to monitor yourself, you come back to this. I need this person to do this thing for this reason. That's what pulls your attention back off yourself and onto them. The result, you stop performing for the camera, you start communicating with a purpose. And that's a completely different thing to watch. Every single step is doing the same thing, pulling your attention away from yourself and onto your audience. And when that shift happens, when it really happens, the self-consciousness that's been quietly getting in your way starts to just dissolve because you're too busy influencing your audience. Now, knowing who you're talking to and why it matters is one thing, but if you want your viewer to actually take action at the end of the video, you need to take them on a journey to get them there first. And most creators have no idea how to do that deliberately. In my next video here, I show you a tool called frames. It's one of the most powerful things you can do to structure a video that moves people, not just informs them of something, but moves them. Check it out here right now.